Hello Marshall here and welcome to today's video. This is part 3 of a 3-part series. In the previous 2 videos I showed you how to just build a basic couch. The second version was a bit more complex with a bit of a pattern. So in today's video we're going to be looking at creating the scatter pillows and a blanket, and then obviously these 3 objects that you see there, maybe footstools or little small seats, whatever you like. It's basically to show you how to work with patterns and how you can use different patterns to design specific objects using the cloth tools. Alright, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so once you got your object loaded in this case this is the couch that we did in the second video, we're gonna start just adding all the extras, the scatter cushions, the blanket. So I think we're gonna start with the blanket. We can go add a plane. Let's just move this so we can actually see it. Alright, and then just start scaling this into the position you want, the size you want. I think in this case this should be fine, maybe like that. And of course I'm gonna add the scale. Then go into edge select mode and just add one loop cut right through the middle. This will just help a bit with the geometry once we add the subdivision surface, which we're gonna do now. And then we just add just add 4 iterations to this and then add simple, apply that. Let's see, I think this is a bit too small, so let's just add 5 onto this and apply that. Alright, so before we start with the simulation, I just want to show you I've got collision enabled on this, all the sides basically that the blanket is gonna touch. So in this case it's this one, the 2 pillows and the side armrest, and then you can see the parameters that I've used for this. Right, so once that's done we can just go to the blanket again and we can just add a cloth to that. I'm gonna add quality steps to 10, and then I'm also gonna change the collision quality to around 5, and then on the collisions itself I'm just going to change this to 0.05, and then enable self collision as well. Friction is fine, and then by distance we're just gonna also add 0.005. Alright, so this will help quite a lot with the simulation. And now if we start with the simulation, what you're gonna see is it just falls completely flat onto the armrest, and that's not at all what we're looking for. So let's just go back again. To get the folds, we're just gonna rotate this onto the Y, maybe somewhere there. Just move this up and just make sure it's not clipping there. Alright, so now we can simulate again. And as you can see, it's forming a lot of new folds and it's not so flat anymore. This is exactly what we're going for, so we can just wait for it to simulate until we're happy on the frame that it's in. And I'm just gonna wait for these bottom parts to just come in a bit, and right around there is perfect. Alright, I'm just gonna shade smooth this, and as you can see it's a bit lumpy, so to fix that we just add another subdivision surface afterwards. However, before we do the final simulation, just gonna remove the subdivision, go back to the first frame. Now we know that's in the correct position. If you're gonna do UV unwrapping, I suggest you do that now, as we've got the exact form already in place. So we can just unwrap this, and there we've got it unwrapped perfectly. So go back to layout, we can simulate again for the final time. And once you're happy on the frame, right around there, I think that should be fine. Then we're just gonna add that final subdivision with 1 segment, and then we just apply the cloth and apply the subdivision surface. Alright, so that's adding a nice little blanket to your scene, and that just warms up the scene quite a bit. Alright, so next we're gonna do the pillow. Alright, so with the blanket complete now, we're gonna go on and make the scatter pillow. There's a lot of videos out there for scatter pillows. It's quite easy to make. All we're gonna need is a cube. Let's just add a cube. And we have it, just move it into place. Let's scale this down a bit and then just scale it inwards as well. Right around there. And we want it quite thin because it's going to expand a lot and we want a bit of a sharper edge on the edge. Alright, so now once that's done, I'm just going to apply the scale and go into edge select, and we're just going to add a couple of loops. Right around here should be fine. What's that? It's about 43 loops there, and we're going to do the same amount on the side as well. Alright, so once that is done, we're gonna of course go through to the to the physics tab, and we're gonna add a cloth simulation physics for this, and just add the quality steps to 10. I'm gonna add the vertex weight to 0.1, and then of course we're gonna need some pressure, so just enable the pressure, and I'm just gonna make this around 5, and then we want to remove the gravity just a bit, maybe 0.05, just so it falls down a bit but not squash it completely, just so we get a bit of the form from the bottom part. Right, so once this is done, we can move this into the position we want. So I'm just going to rotate this on the y-axis just to get it a bit skewed. There's something like there, and then rotate on the z-axis as well. And then let's just see here, and we're just going to move this into place and move it downwards as well. Alright, so right around there should be perfect, and then we can start the simulation. And you just have to wait for the simulation to be complete. And then I see it's not going to go any further than that, so I think I'm just going to select one of the earlier frames. So I think this frame over here works the best for me, shade smooth. As you can see, it starts to fold just a bit around these parts where the collision is enabled. Alright, so that's basically it for the simulation of the pillow. So we can apply the cloth. And then what I'm going to do is, it's shade smooth. Just make sure it's shade smooth. And I'm just going to add one division extra onto this, and that will just smooth it out a bit. And you can apply that as well. Alright, so now we can go back into edge select, or basically we can go into face select, and we want to select this face that runs right through here. I'm actually just gonna go back one step and then just add 2 segments to this and apply. Now if we go into edge select mode, we've got a smaller face running down here, and we want to select these parts here. So we just alt select, and once you've got that, we're just gonna hit Control E for extrude along normals, and we can just bring this part out a bit, somewhere around there. And then the next step we're gonna do is to select these edges. Select these 2 edges. Let's see, now let's select the middle edge, and then just right click and mark the seam. So then when we unwrap, we'll have a equal front and back part. Alright, so once this is done, you can just go back to object mode, and then I'm gonna add the final subdivision surface, just one section, and then apply. So now basically we've got the pillow done, and of course you can duplicate this and use it as another one, scale it down a bit, and just add it into the position you like. Just like so, and it's done. Okay, so basically, as you can see, these two pillows look exactly the same. This one is just a bit smaller. So I'm going to go over to the sculpt mode, and I'm going to use the cloth filter. Here's one here, and I'm going to use inflate, and then just inflate it a bit. Just somewhere around there, and then I can just go over to the smooth tool and just put the strength down a bit, and then you can just smooth some of these parts out. And then once you smooth that out just a bit, just go to the cloth brush, and then you can just, oh, that's way too strong. You can just drag a few parts around. Yeah, you will have some more folds at the bottom, and then of course just hit shift and smooth it out as well. And once you're happy with the results, you are basically done. So as you can see now, we don't have exactly the same resemblance from these two pillows. So I'm just gonna head over back to object mode, and there you have it. And now that we're done with the pillows and the throw or the blanket, I'm gonna head over and then just do a little footstool, also with a material, and then I'll show you how you can do different kind of shapes on that. So to start with that, we're just gonna add a cube, and let's just move the cube into the position, just so we have a bit of reference on the scale. Let's just scale this down a bit. Might have something around here. Just scale this in, and we just want to bring it down a bit. Right around there should be fine. And I might even scale it just in a bit and just a bit out as well. So we can apply scale, go into edit mode, and then let's look at this. I'm going to add a bevel somewhere around there because I want it quite rounded. And then I'm going to add the edge loops. There we go. Alright, so now we have this basic, we've got this basic shape, and we want to do something interesting with it. So basically what you can do is you can add the same pattern that we have here, and doing that we can just, let's see, let's just go into this view, just turn on my X-ray, and we're going to select those faces that we want to work with, and then you can go to face and then poke faces, and then back to face and then trace to quads, and you can just go over to vertex, go to top view, and then you can just start selecting the pieces you want to work on. Alright, so now that you have the vertices selected that you want to use, you can just hit Ctrl-Shift-B, that will just bevel this, and right around there should be fine. Go over to face, I'm going to insert the face once, and then go over to object again, shade smooth, add the subdivision surface modifier, and add about 3 segments to this, apply, go over to sculpt mode, and then face sets from selection. Right around this size is fine, So now we can start. Once you're on your cloth filter, inflate, and use face set is selected. We're just gonna drag this to the left and basically just deflate this part. Like I said previously as well, just use small strokes at a time. Now it looks a bit messed up right from the inside there, but that's fine. And we just move this part out until you're happy with the result. So I think around there is perfect for me. So there you have it. Now you've got something that fits with the couch. However, if we look on this side, we see this is now a different pattern. So this fits with the base pattern of the base cushions and the back cushion. And then we can do the same one with more or less this feel to it. So we can do that as well. And then we just hide this. Now we're going to add a cube again. And I could have actually just used the previous one, and before I started with it, we could have just duplicated that. Let's just move this one in place, just scale it, move it down a bit, scale it some more. I think only on the Z. Move it down a bit. Alright, let's just move this in as well. I think we can just make it a bit thinner. Alright, so I'm happy with this. Now I'm just going to apply scale again. Go into edit mode. I'm just going to add a bevel to this. And for this one I'm going to use 2 segments. So let's just change the bevel to 2. Just so I can have the middle line running through there. Okay, so once that's done, again, add some edge loops to the sides. Just make sure you cover all the sides. And then yeah, in the front as well. And once you have this, we can start selecting the parts that we want to use. So we want to have more or less this kind of look to this part. So what we can do is to make sure you're in edge select mode and just select the edges that you're gonna use for this part. So I'm just gonna select all the outside edges that runs through the middle. And then make sure you have all of them. And then again, I'm gonna do a bevel. And this time only with 1 segment. And I'm gonna add it right around there. And then once I'm in face select mode, I'm just gonna insert this as well to right around there. Alright, perfect. So now we can add a subdivision modifier to this. So just go to object and subdivision surface modifier. We're gonna add 3 segments, hit apply, shade smooth. And now in the edit mode selection, I'm just gonna reduce this by hitting Control minus, just so I have the smallest section, which is this one. Now with this selected, what I like to do is to hit Control E, extrude the long normals, and I'm just gonna insert this, extrude this inwards just a bit. Alright, so now back to object mode. You can already see it starts to take in that shape that I'm going for. Alright, so go to sculpt mode, and we've got it selected, and we're going to use the new face sets from selection. And on the highlighted part, I'm just going to drag inwards just a bit, maybe a bit more around there. And then on the other side, we're just going to drag that to the right, just until it almost closes that gap right around there. And there you have it. This is now a whole new look, completely different to the previous one. And we can hide this for now. Alright, so let's just add a cylinder. Just move this into place. And we can scale this down a bit, maybe around there. And maybe right around, yeah. So this could be one of those little small chairs that we just have down to the side. And what we can do for this one now is go to face select. We select these faces. Let's start with this one. And I'm just going to go to face and then just poke faces. And I'm just going to insert this as well, just a couple of times. Just so we have a bit more geometry to work with there. Just going to add a few loop cuts to the side here as well. And then I'm just going to do the same for the bottom. Go to face and then poke faces. Alright, so now that we have the geometry that we're looking for, let's see. So we can maybe just select this, go to edge select this loop here, and then just scale that out a bit. I think we can use proportional editing for this. Right around there. And then select this edge here, and I think we can scale this one in a bit, just like around there. The bottom is fine. Alright, so now we can just go to face select, and I'm just gonna select these two inside faces. Let's see, and then I'm just gonna poke these faces, and let's see. Alright, so we've got something more to work with around here, so I'm gonna go through to edge. And what I'm going to do is just select these edges that run around this side. And the bottom ones as well. Let's see, so we got these edges selected. I'm just going to dissolve these ones. So just hit limited dissolve. And now we already got a bit more of a pattern going. So I'm going to select these vertices in the middle. So just go into your X-ray mode, select these middle vertices, and then I'm just going to hit Ctrl-Shift-B, and then just give him a slight bevel. However, before I do that, I'm just going to add the scale first, and then we can go back to them, Ctrl-Shift-B, just so we have a nice perfect circle here. Alright, so now with this, I think we can do a pattern that runs through here and select all of these parts as well. So let's just head over to the X-ray view. Let me just start by selecting these parts that I'm going to be using. We're going to use these ones. We're going to use these ones in the middle. And then let's see what we left with. Okay, we're not going to use these edges, so I'm just going to remove these edges. And from this side as well. And then of course we're going to select these parts as well. And I don't think we're going to use these middle parts. Okay, so at the end, this is the pattern that I figured out for this. So let's just hit a bevel on this. Just one segment. And now you can see the pattern just a bit better. There you go. And then after we bevel, I'm just going to select these parts as well. Okay, and with all that selected, I'm just going to insert these faces. Let's just zoom in so we can see. right around there. And now we can go over to Shade Smooth, and then Subdivision Surface Modifier, and we just add 3 segments to this and apply. Alright, so let's see what happens once we go into our sculpt mode. And let's select our new facets, and let's just bring this down a bit, smallest form we can, right around there. And then make sure to use your cloth filter and on inflate over the highlighted part, and we just drag inwards. And then on the other side we just drag out. And I think we can even go a bit more extreme on the inflate, maybe somewhere around there. Alright, so I'm not going to go through the process of making the legs for this. I think we can just go with a basic leg right through the middle with some pieces sticking out. But yeah, I think for now we've got this done. But yeah, that's the basics of creating patterns with the cloth filter. It's extremely easy, and doing a blanket and pillows is just as easy. Alright, so that's that for this part. I'm just going to do a basic material on these and export it to my showroom scene, and then I'll show you the final results. Alright, so I imported everything to my showroom scene, and this is the end result. As you can see, the difference it makes with a basic material on it as well. Alright, so that's that for this video, and just the final render. And yeah, like I said, all these objects and all the designs are quite easy, so hopefully you were able to learn something from this and just learn how easy it is to work with forms, work with the cloth tools. And yeah, hopefully you can go out and make your own designs now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.